We have a spore drive and we can go anywhere. That's what Michael said. And we're thrilled out of all the different places that you guys can go. You've joined us here in our home tonight. I am your captain and host this week, Julian Brown, alongside my trusty bridge crew, Ensign Brittany Tomes, Lieutenant Hawk, the man keeping our long-range sensors online, Rear Admiral Eric, and our resident mixologist, Ensign Aaron Copeland. Hello, welcome, glory to you and your houses.
Woo! We're here.
I'm
just letting out the emotions everyone's feeling right now.
All of the emotions. I know everybody on our Twitch stream liked the previous interview that we just did, which will be dropping on Saturday. You could actually, you won't hear that on Saturday. It'll drop next Friday in podcast form. And maybe as an exclusive for some of our Patreon collective. So yes. Okay, so hello to everyone out there on Twitch. We know you've already been here watching our interview with Jeff Russo, and then keep the questions coming all night long. We want to hear from you about this episode that we're going to be reviewing, Season 3, Episode 5 of Star Trek Discovery, Die Trying. As always, a big thank you to Sam Dillard and Samo Studios for our Trektastic intro and outro music. We're going to do a little plug here because, as you guys may or not know yet, we have started our Patreon collective. It's going strong, and we want you to join it. So you can check out all the awesome benefits that you get for supporting us, even starting at the $1 a month level. So that goes all the way up to $5 a month. And with that, Aaron, I believe you'll have another Trek-themed cocktail video coming out very soon.
Yes, I will. So last month we had Saru Brew was one of our cocktails, and this month we're going to be doing a couple new ones. I'm not going to tell you the names of them because you have to join our Patreon to find out, but we do a fun follow-along video so you know what to make. That comes out a couple days before we do the watch-along, and then we all get drunk on Discord, watch the episode, and then Julie and I podcast about it, and it's ridiculous, so you should check that out.
Indeed, you should. We are already getting all the Twitch comments here, and I'm going to read those right now. Gloria Zarafa says, I'm currently crying in front of the episode. Everything is fine. Beef Main says, feed the space machine. Yes, do indeed. Feed the space machine. So definitely check out our Patreon because you'll get access to those. If you do join at that $2 Ready Room or $5 Cerritos Lounge level, members at those levels have already gotten early access to interviews like the one you're going to hear tonight with our very special guest, which we pre-recorded, Ian Alexander. Brittany, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we have a rating party in our Twitch right now.
Hello, Chief Joe.
5 raters just entered.
Chef Joe, my bad.
Oh, welcome. Thank you for rating. That's awesome. So if you want to go to Warp, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/astrangenewpod. And speaking of our awesome patrons, a big Starfleet shout out to Ann Bradley, Atia I'm going to screw it up, Kamala Pardilis, Brandon Felser, Mariah Gossett, Mag, Jeff Reeves, Simon Stager, and Amani Williams.
Aren't you part Greek?
I think it's
I am, and I tried to rush it and screwed it up. I'm very disappointed in this tonight.
I think it's Camilo Pardalis.
It is Camilo Pardalis, and well done, Brittany.
I just wanted to do that.
Yes. Oh, God, this is awesome, guys. This raid. I'm very excited that this is happening.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Discovery Ark? No.
So Raiders of the
what does it mean that they're raiding us? I'm still new to the Discords.
If people are watching you on Twitch and your stream is coming to an end, you can do something called a raiding party where you take your viewers and you send them over somewhere else to like help somebody else boost their views and also to keep the party going essentially. So
That's
maybe
awesome.
they were a gamer or maybe they had their own show and theirs ended sooner. So they're like, ooh, Strange New Pod's up. Boom, send them over.
Amazing. Very cool.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out Chef Joe's channel right after.
Chef Joe.
There you go. All right, guys, it is time for our favorite part of the night, and that is the Strange New Loop. So we were talking in our Discord chat. I know that gets you guys every time about, due to this episode and seeing the Federation and seeing something that we're going to talk about that we're all really excited for. I kind of came up with this idea. I know we kind of briefly did something similar, but this is a little different. If there was one item or one person from past Trek series that you could bring into Discovery Season 3, that would make sense, like them being 940 whatever years in the future, and bring them to that secret Federation hideout, who or what would it be?
I mean, I'm bringing Janeway because she's already a science person. You know, she was a science officer before she was captain. And we know freaking, spoiler alert, Voyager's there. I mean, like, ah! So I would bring Janeway.
I like how, Julian, I hate that you added, and it would make sense that they'd be 900 years in the future, because that wasn't in the original question, so
Well,
I was so
for
prepared.
you, it doesn't have to make sense.
Okay. Well, I was going to say Harry motherfucking Kim.
Well deserved.
I'm going to make
Yeah.
sure he gets the respect he deserves. Harry, wherever you are, / your actor, wherever you are, come join us.
Garrett
in the
Wang.
future.
Maybe he'll
future
finally
is
get a promotion in
Garrett
the
Wang.
32nd century.
Yeah,
wouldn't even be
everybody
an
Wang
admiral yet,
Chung
Hawk.
tonight.
Oh, poor Harry Kim.
I really, some people don't care at all about him. But
You know what? I'm gonna follow Brittany.
I'm gonna Harry the fandom for him. I'm just gonna carry that weight.
So who I'd bring is Tom Paris, just to screw up all your plans.
God damn it! And get all of my recognition.
Exactly.
Just bring the whole crew over, all of Voyager.
Oh wow! Real quick, guys, on Twitch, the real Brita says this is my first Twitch, so welcome to our Twitch
Wait,
collective.
if they're the real
you guys
Brita,
are amazing.
what am I?
Oh, I don't know. Who's up, Eric or Brittany? Eric or Hawk?
I already went. I just went.
You just stole my
Tom
thunder.
Paris.
Classic
Tom
Paris move.
Tom Paris
What a Paris we are.
Is Hawk gonna say 7 of 9?
I hope it's Voyager shit.
No, I think you'll like this answer. I'm gonna bring Kirk into the the 32nd century because it would save him from a terrible death in the 24th century. An unworthy death.
He's got that golem body now.
No, that's Picard.
Oh, I thought you said. Oh, you said Kirk.
I said
Sorry,
Kirk.
my bad. I thought you said Kirk.
Oh, I like Kirk. We have some good submissions on Twitch here. We have Engineer 21 says lizard babies in the 30th century.
Yes.
Yes.
And
If
then
threshold is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Glorious Seraphis says O'Brien. They kept the most important man alive somehow. Damn right. And I will play this again.
Could you imagine?
Form, damn
Yeah,
it.
if he saw his statue in the future, he'd just be like, "What the?"
How did this happen?
Especially Transporter O'Brien, not
right,
like
yeah.
later
Yeah.
O'Brien.
So in a perfect world, I would like to hope and dream that the Enterprise E was never destroyed and that it is in that little bubble of hiddenness in a museum somewhere that people can just go and bow down in awe of the beautiful Sovereign class Enterprise E, the most beautiful starship next to the Enterprise B. So yes, the Sovereign class Enterprise E, man, you could put that ship out next to Discovery and they could just be like the old, like, what are some good
They would just
old
be the
class-
alphabet.
They would be like the classic
A, B, C,
cars,
D.
you know? Yeah.
It'll be that and Voyager and the USS Nog.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. Somebody added Harry Mudd is who they'd bring. They'd adapt,
B
saying
from
he'd
Maine.
adapt
Oh,
very
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I said that's the second best Harry, and they said second best Mudd too.
All right, guys, we are going to try and be really fast tonight with our review because we have a very special interview with Ian Alexander that you guys are going to be able to watch after. So we're going to try and power through our review of Die Trying tonight. So
Or we'll die trying.
Or we will die trying. Well done, Brittany. I like that. I will still do one of these.
Shut up, Wesley.
So
Hit
Hawk,
Brittany with it.
Hawk, why don't you give us the synopsis for this episode?
So, after reuniting with what remains of Starfleet in the Federation, the USS Discovery and its crew must prove that a 930-year-old crew and starship are exactly what this future needs.
It is. Discovery is what the future needs. Damn it! It does.
It's what
It
we
needs a
need
little-
now too.
It is what we need
Yes.
now.
Yeah,
Very
for
true.
reals.
Because I know Aaron's gonna freak out if I don't mention it soon. Let's just get it out of the way first because we don't really do the Easter egg hunt on this like we do for Lower Decks. One of the first ships that Discovery sees through the view screen and through the windows, everybody looking out like all excited. The USS motherfucking Voyager. Oh my god.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say when it came on, I went to Karen, I was like, that was Voyager. And then like 30 seconds would pass by on the show, and I was like, that was Voyager.
Dude, I texted you this morning. I was like, have you seen it? You were like, no. And I was like, ugh.
I'm gonna
It was Kate Mulgrew herself.
her
Just
head
copying
in a
that
jar.
nebula. She's floating. Oh my god.
Oh
See,
my
she
Oh,
god.
that's
is.
awesome.
The real discovery was the Kate Mulgrews we made along the way.
Um.
I,
Yeah. Go ahead, Eric.
I'm gonna be the dissenting voice here and say I didn't like that.
Boo.
Not that it wasn't. I didn't like that it was in the forefront. Like I love when they have things like the USS Nog, like in the background. That you're just like, holy shit, that's over there. Like, but they like front and centered it.
Oh, so you like a subtle nog. You don't like when it's,
Get
just
off
right
my
in your
bridge.
face.
I love that. That was amazing.
I'm with Voyage her, okay?
Get off my bridge.
The future is
Get
female.
off my bridge.
Gonna keep doing it. I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Julian, do you have coffee in that nebula? Is that one of your buttons?
Not today. It's not. I
I'm all
do.
giddy after Jeff. I'm sorry.
It's true. I will give it one thing. Like they don't do that ever really. So it was the first time they were just like blatantly, here, look at this. This is something from the past, sort of. So I will give it that. But I don't like shows that do that. I just.
But now I know Voyager made it back home.
And
I haven't
it was
finished
a
the series
long
we were just
road
watching.
getting from there to here.
It was a long time as well.
But its time finally made it. What,
Yeah.
10 iterations later, because it was the Voyager J.
Jay, yeah.
It just
The
proves that
generation
ship is unsinkable. I mean, undestroyable. Like it's been through a lot.
I'm really happy it wasn't that shitty ass ugly Enterprise J, because that would.
Oh my god, I would have been so
nervous.
angry if the
I would-
ships of then looked like the time ships, because those were ugly ass ships.
Ugly.
Ugly ass ships.
So thank God it wasn't the Enterprise, and there was also the USS Nog.
That was
Nog.
that made me
I love
that made me tear up a little bit. I gotta be
Yeah.
honest.
That was.
I bet you it cost an arm and a leg to make. Or maybe just a leg.
I want to know what the hell is going on.
No.
Took the biggest sip of my tea. Oh man.
We have a lot of people who are also excited to see Voyager. Gloria Seraph said, I screamed Voyager, aha. And B. Flamane just said hot, because, Engineer 21 also said, I cried at the sight of Voyager, and that they also like the Enterprise theme. So someone is
Damn straight.
Let's talk about this very clean Apple Store type look. Not the Apple Store type look of the JJ verse. This is even cleaner than that of the 31st, 32nd century. It's really cool. Like it's a really cool look, right, guys?
Yeah, I'm glad that their Roombas didn't run on dilithium. Because obviously they're still working,
It's really cool, but it's sort of unsettling as well. I don't know if you guys had that feeling too.
I did.
Especially
Like,
since
too
they were
clean?
it was too
Too
clean,
stale?
and they were so standoffish when you first see them, like an actual Apple store. So,
Not a single
Too
carpet
sterile?
in sight either. Like, where are all the carpeting?
Did you see when they walked into one of the rooms and like the platform materialized and
I
then the
love
whole
that.
floor sort of went opaque? That was cool as hell.
So
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah. Did you guys wish, because I know, Eric, you said you weren't as happy to see Voyager, but do you guys wish that we got to see, instead of them being kind of blurred out, we get to see some more of those starships that were off in the distance?
I think we will though over time, right?
I hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I think that also, even all the ones that were there that were out of shot, like that's not even all of them. I have a feeling that they do have a few that go around like short distances. So you never know. It's a little sprinkling.
The design is so good, especially after seeing all the same ship at the end of Picard. It was refreshing to
Yes.
see so many different
Yes.
types of ships.
I
You're
think
like,
I think
Fleet has personality.
the fans got the point across on that one. Like, no more of this cookie cutter bullshit.
Yep.
I had a quick thought. Maybe the reason Voyager survived and older ships, maybe they were like in a museum at the time and they didn't have any dilithium in them. So maybe that's why they survived. And then they found a way to sort of like Battlestar Galactica it and just sort of,
Yeah.
get them going again.
Maybe.
Makes sense. I hope they
Yeah.
BSG it and not BS us.
Eric, you already mentioned that Starfleet was super standoffish, and the way that they were like, you have to kind of pass this test first to make sure that you really are home. And Hawk, I want to start with you first. Do we think that Starfleet maybe isn't telling Disco everything, even though they've now technically been welcomed home?
I don't even think they're welcome home at this point. Like they're still not telling them everything. They still won't let anything out about the burn. And as we see, like the standoffishness comes out of the fact that, like, technically, like Discovery and its crew are criminals in that, because they've obviously broken these temporal laws, and they still don't know what to make of them.
Yeah, I was surprised that they wouldn't tell them about the burn, because I thought it was really giving them the discold shoulder, I was like, damn, you really did them. Her name is literally Burnham, and you can't tell her about the burn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
Burn. I'm done now.
What? Jesus, Brittany, you just threw off the whole entire thing.
You're welcome. Oh, are you gonna bring up Odin Fair? Because I thought it was pretty Odin Fair of him to.
I am, and I'm still not going to give you anything because I really love Odin Fair, and I want to know what
I
you
love
guys
him
think of him because I was like, oh my god, I love him. I love him so much. The Mummy is one of my favorite movies ever.
He's so good, and he's still so good looking. Like,
Oh, he's so hot.
goddamn,
right?
Super
Like
hot.
time capsule.
and
That
like,
hair, my god.
and there's when I was talking about the standoffishness, it was like he didn't want to ruin something, or there was like this big secret that he didn't want to destroy them with. It felt like that. I don't know. It felt like he was. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. I like him a lot, but I don't trust him.
I don't know if I don't trust him. I think he's he seems defeated because of the state the Federation's in, but I'm also the trustworthy one of the show. Like, I don't think the person's going to do anything stupid. So
Maybe he really wants the fleet to advance, you know? His name's Admiral Vance.
oh my god.
So like he just doesn't trust what he can't really rely on yet.
I have a question. His communicator, his badge, did it have the pips that were?
It
also
did. They
his?
just like were kind of blurred out. You couldn't see him that well.
Yeah, it looked like
It
it was
looked
on the
like-
badge too. It was weird.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Pips out for Harambe.
Let's go to Twitch here. Oh, God.
Harambe, that's who'd I bring to space before the events.
Beef Flamin asked, how many of them are holograms? Like, who's a hologram and who's real?
Yeah.
Is an interesting question. Are they
They had
all
like little
holograms?
bow ties or
I
some
love that.
shit. Like,
And
I
I
was-
ask, does it even programmably matter?
No.
And with the programmable matter, are they just sort of like coming out and like androidy holograms? Like
It's
Yeah.
interesting.
it's like a mixture now, and it's weird. And cool.
Yeah. I did not like the bow tie, and I love bow ties.
I
and
love
thought
the
that
bow
was very
tie.
I thought it was very out of place.
But
I-
bow ties are cool.
I-
Fizzes are cool.
I may have looked online to buy one that looks like it.
Ah!
Nice.
Glorious Rafa says, 100% not telling them everything. I think we all can agree on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Engineer 21 also says, happened before, it's happened again. Voyager and BSG parallel.
Hmm.
And then
get
and
everybody on Voyager, and we're all gonna cruise out of there.
I don't want to spend too much more time on this, but Engineer 21 had a great point. I was very anxious about seeing this new Federation. I don't know if I can trust them yet. And I think we talked about that a little bit at the end of last week's episode about, what Federation are we going to see? And we're going to talk about that later in the mailbag. Let's move on to the actual episode. We did have kind of very typical A and B plot this week. The A plot was Michael and the Disco crew on kind of this like probationary type mission, right? To the Federation seed ship, which over, millennia has been crewed by different member planets of the Federation, which I thought was a really nice touch, and was currently under watch by Commander Nan's race, the Barzan, specifically a family of 4. The seed ship held a possible cure to the race of aliens rescued by the Federation, and the hope is that by finding that cure and administering it, the Federation will trust Disco. What did we think of this very non-heavy episode?
I thought it was wonderful. And I think that actress is the best Barza Nun. Barza Nun.
I'm sort of sad that she's not going to be in the rest of the season. I really liked
Yeah.
her, and I thought she was going to be a
Yeah.
big part of the crew. But
Yeah, she really got me crying by the end, and I was like, I don't want you to go. I was like Michael in that scenario. I was like, please no.
when you see her eyes for the first time, it's like, oh,
Oh.
like that's like, it was a
She's
there
like,
are lots
real
of beautiful
air, real
moments.
me.
Yeah, it was such a good moment.
I agree.
Do
Yeah.
we think
Go ahead,
she's
Eric.
not coming back? I mean, or like we might see her later down the line? Because I was surprised too about that. Because I feel like we just got to know her.
Yeah.
They did say that whole "I hope our paths cross again" thing.
Which
so-
means their paths are going to cross again, right?
The
Like,
seed's going to be
gonna
important
cross
or
again.
something.
yeah.
They're like, if we reach season 5, yeah, you'll have a guest spot.
I personally don't mind that she stood behind she stayed behind on the seed ship, because unfortunately she's kind of one of those characters, because now they're really focusing on the bridge crew that we've had over the past 2 seasons now into season 3, and she kind of was left to be the one standing and not really saying a whole lot and just there looking like the badass security officer. So
Mhm.
I think for her to go out on this episode and it be, really focused on her and her race of people, I thought it was nice. I don't think it was one of those like, oh, they're just writing them off for the sake of writing them off.
Did she recognize the lullaby? I wasn't quite sure.
No, Michael recognized it.
Okay.
Non did not.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I trying also continue the theme of Discovery this season, really embracing Star Trek and the good Star Trek tropes. It starts with a captain's log, and then having all the crew have something to do on the bridge, right? Like that's a really Star Trek thing that we like to see. And speak, they all talked and they all had moments that were important. And then, the episode ends, which we just talked to Jeff Russo about. They're being more prominent now, the Starfleet Alexander Courage horns, and, the back off ship shot.
Mm-hmm.
Do we like that Discovery has really finally evolved into really becoming Star Trek?
I think that they're sort of the embodiment of Star Trek right now, and they have to show this to the Federation, all these people right now, so the fact that they're embracing all of these Trek tropisms, it's just part of it feels right for their journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the comparison between the Renaissance and the Dark Ages and that, and how like the Discovery crew is basically there to take them out of the Dark Ages and that. So yeah, them representing kind of a return of the Starfleet and the Federation and that to this really dark time. It speaks a lot to like everything that's happening like right now.
Props
They
to the
really
writers.
enlightened the mood.
Anybody else have anything on that and kind of it embracing Star Trek? No, moving on. Okay, wait, maybe Twitch.
I mean, I always have a lot.
Engineer 21 going back to talking about Non. I cried so hard when they said the daughters were named after
the moons.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
Oh,
That's when I really started to be like,
Jesus.
That's such a good
Yeah,
moment.
I did not cry this episode,
I
but
didn't
it
either.
had good emotional moments.
Beats.
I
Yeah.
cried 3 times.
What were the 3
Not
times?
as
cried
much
a
as
few
last
times.
episode where I cried 5 times, but I cried 3.
Let's talk about I can't believe I'm going to say this. David Cronenberg is in this episode, and it's amazing. Yeah, right. Interrogating Giorgio. This is not only great acting by Cronenberg, but this season has just been like a masterclass by Michelle Yeoh, right? She's just been absolutely fantastic. How did we feel about the B plot and what Starfleet possibly did to her? Like they did something to her at the end of this
Something.
episode.
If there was,
I don't know, man.
Oh.
I'm excited about that. Like, is she a little mind controlled? Because she's always been in control. That is her thing. Like, she's in a whole nother universe and she doesn't give a shit. Like, she always is in control. And now, is she out of control? Because she's a scary person to be out of control.
Yeah. If there was
I mean,
if there was anyone to screw with Giorgio, it would be David Cronenberg. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And we know that like Discovery's out of control grasp, but as far as Giorgio's concerned,
Oh,
who
no.
knows if they what if they replaced her with like programmable matter or something?
Oh.
Like,
Oh,
and then they still have her there and they're trying to interrogate her more and they just didn't let her out, and that's why there's that like it kind of has her memories, but it's like that zone out, like it was downloading.
Oh man.
Interesting.
And her was like,
Buffering,
"You okay,
buffering.
fam?" And then it was like when my Ethernet cord popped out last episode.
Like that
and then,
episode with
reconnects.
Riker.
yeah. You just
I
blew
don't
my
know.
mind with that theory. I like
Her
it. I
look
like
as she
it.
walks
Yeah.
away was so good.
If I'm right,
I-
you Giorgio me so many apologies for all my puns. If I'm right.
I don't know if it was so much that's as nefarious as that they replaced her or they've put in some sort of an implant into her and that. Although I do think that was the look of someone who's kind of discovered some really horrifying truth and is still trying to grapple with it.
Ooh.
And to make your theory even maybe more probable, Brittany Gloria Sarafa said she didn't blink,
Yeah,
and we know that the holograms don't.
I know. And you do this, and her whole personality, like the whole interview, like I said with Michelle Yeoh before, I love this role for her because she's not doing her, like, they're not forcing her to be the stereotypical, like, silent but deadly Asian woman. Like, she's still deadly as hell, still Asian, don't get me wrong, but she's not being stuck into this, like, can find like, oh, I need to be, honorable and respect, like all this shit. Like, no, she sits there and she's like, this is a bullshit interview. Blink, blink, blink. Go the fuck away. Like,
That was so good.
so
Ooh.
the fact that
But
she acts so different at the end, I was just like,
I think this theory is going to end up being
Funny.
100% correct. I like it. Did you guys think that
blink and you'll miss it.
it was weird and interesting that Cronenberg's character knew so much about the mirror universe, even if that information is readily available in this day and age of Starfleet? Hawk.
Yeah, I know that came out of nowhere, because he identified her like almost immediately in that, as a Terran, and I was like, wait a minute, planet Earth people? And then I started to realize, no, he means mirror universe. And the fact that her departure from the mirror universe apparently had some sort of a lasting impact in that. They haven't had pretty much any contact with it since then.
No.
If I remember,
the last 600 years.
Last 600.
The last six.
So yeah.
Yeah, the last 600 years. So yeah, that really came out of nowhere. It was amazing.
Yeah.
How do they even know?
I know. I think we're going to find out. This season is
Merging.
Yes. Ooh. Oh.
Beef Lo Mein keeps referencing Khan, and he's like, contact.
Oh.
Always a con.
Maybe the merging of the universes is what caused the burn.
I think.
What
Yeah.
if Benedict Cumberbatch shows up?
Guys, finally, let's confront the music, which has been obviously a very big, important part of our show tonight. I have no idea at all what this could mean. Like, I have maybe one theory, and I don't even think it's a good one. But do you guys have any of your own? Mine is that it's somehow gray, like projecting this into people's heads somehow. I don't really know. What do you guys have? Is it something much bigger than that?
So wait, you think it's gray transferring music through gray matter in people's brains?
I don't know. Maybe.
I just wanted to make that joke.
I know you. I know.
I think that it's gonna be one of those cases where, like, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Cloud Atlas, but like there's a specific song that's used in that movie that it covers like 5 different storylines from different time periods, and it all, like, that song becomes important through all those time periods to all the different characters.
Mhm.
So I think that the cello being taught to Adira is because that one original Trill host that's not gray played the cello, so that's a song from then, and they all are connecting through the song. But those past lives could have shared that music in different ways across the universe. It's the same way that I think even in our world we have collective consciousness that happens sometimes, where all these different scientific discoveries will line up around the world at the same time, even though people aren't necessarily sharing the information. So it's interesting because they're trying. It's going back to the whole idea of the Dark Ages and the Renaissance. Once again, Dark Ages, nothing was happening, no discoveries were happening. Then all of a sudden, all these amazing ideas and things are happening all at once. So I think that music, sort of, that's connecting them all. It's tying into that theme, I think, of discovery being like the Renaissance and this.
Yeah. I was
Things
gonna
are
say it's
things are connected even when you think they're so far disconnected. Like that, this song is the small one connecting thing. We'll see what it grows into, because ultimately we know that there's so much with Granadira we don't know. But I think that it's symbolic. They're doing it for a reason.
I want to go back to what Jeff Russo said about the cello and how it's the frequency of our voice and how it how that frequency connects us all together. And I feel like yes, it could be this message just going out through everything, and that just because the first time we hear it is the cello and it's so familiar to us, it becomes familiar to everyone. Like just that little bit that he told us, and I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
You're like confirmed. Threads across the galaxy.
Reddit, hear my voice.
I don't know if I have any theories on it in that, but it did give me a serious BSG vibe in that. I kept expecting Burnham to start tapping the walls, saying there must be some kind of way out of here.
Oh my
Right?
god! And then there's so much BSG talk on Twitter.
I
right
mean,
now.
yeah, no, I was about to
I
say,
mean, on
like, we have
Twitch,
Beef
sorry.
Main talking about Cylons, so I'm just like, we'll get to it.
I was gonna say Bill and Ted, because the music brings us together, man.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
cause world peace.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's rate Die Trying out of 10 seed pods. We'll go Hawk, Brittany, Eric, Aaron.
10 out of 10 for me. Seeing David Cronenberg in this episode was just amazing. In that, the man has done so much for horror and sci-fi and that throughout the ages, and said, another shout out to Canada, from this show. So
Nice.
10 out of 10 for me.
They just dragged him out of his house down the street.
Yeah,
I
right.
will also say 10 out of 10 because this episode, it sowed the seeds of something a little more that's going to happen. And yeah, it was a slow burn. But I think it's
Get
the
off
type
my
of slow
bridge.
episode. It's not even really that slow, but like it's a calm down episode after like all this stuff that's happened in the first few. But it's still, I love this show, man. It's one of the best shows to happen this year. And every episode, it's at the same quality, same good story. And I finish it and I'm like, wow, I can't wait until next week. Like, I can't wait to see where this goes. I'm taking it bit by bit. I'm glad they didn't do it all at once for me to binge. Like,
Yeah.
I want them piece by piece.
Eric.
Oh, it was me?
Yep.
I'm going to say 8 out of 10. Like, I really enjoyed the episode. Not my favorite. This season has had so many 10s and 9s that this wasn't up there with those other ones. But it's still, Trek is, even not the best Trek for me, is still better than most TV right now.
Still really good Trek, right?
Not just Trek, TV in general.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron.
I'm gonna say 9 out of 10, and it's like a 9.9 because last week's episode was just so meaningful and was just, I think, so special, especially in Trek. And I'm just, it was awesome, like Voyager, all of that stuff. But it's just like last week's, I can't just quite get it. It's like right there, right there.
You're like, how can we beat it now that we have this tier?
It's so hard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with an 8 out of 10 too. Not because of anything wrong the episode did. My main reason for that is pacing issues. I think it got a little bit slow at points. That's not an insult because it was still a great episode. But if I'm gonna get to the technicalities, it's not my favorite. It was still very, very good. 8.5 out of 10 seed pods. And on Twitch, Beefalo Main gives it a very 10 out of 10. Glorious Arafa gives it a 10 out of 10. Engineer 21 gives it a 10 out of 10. Beefalo Main says it made a lot of cool implications. And I guess he changed to 9.9 just because warp.
No warp.
We make that joke all the time. We're like,
it's the best episode of the season.
Love you, Beefalo Man.
There you go.
I say spore drive, motherfucker.
All
That's
right,
an
guys,
infinity symbol.
let's get into the mailbag.
Hailing frequencies are open.
Damn you, Brittany.
Eric and I were like,
Let me do that again. Let's get into the mailbag.
Hailing frequencies are open.
And we asked our normal subspace Twitter poll about a day before the episode, with Discovery finally finding the Federation, what did you expect it to be like when they arrive? Who wants to read our Twitter instant poll results? Eric, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So 8% said a physical location, 25% said a secluded nebula, 28% said small but thriving, and 39%, which includes me, said more militaristic.
wasn't it all of these things at
It was
once?
kind of all things at once. It really was. It's kind of incredible.
He kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were all right. Yeah. When
Hey.
does that ever happen?
Not a heavy mailbag this week. We have one comment from Discord and one from Twitter. Who wants to read our Discord from Simon?
Me.
Hit it. Oh,
Go Hawk.
You could do
You
Twitter.
do it.
You could do Twitter.
Okay.
Brittany, you do Discord.
Okay, from Simon. You're all amazing people. It's fantastic that you've been able to do so much as a group physically divided during these interesting times. I just wanted to say thank you to you all for helping us all look up a little. Aw,
Damn.
man, you Saru'd me at the end, boy.
We love you. Thank
We're
you.
trying not to cry as much as we do
Yeah.
every day we see Star
Every
Trek.
single episode, dude. What are you
We
doing?
talked to Ian, we cried. We talked to Jeff, we cried. We watched these episodes, we cry. And now you. Thanks, Simon. Simon says.
Yeah, dude, that's so kind. Thank you so much. We're trying, and we love putting this show out for you every single week. It is one of the highlights. So, yeah, thank you for watching and supporting us. Hawk, hit it.
So from Twitter, Ezel Galoff wrote, "This isn't your grandpa's Federation. Political institutions change, and when there's a crisis, it's not always for the better. Saru should do some recon before turning over tech to Federation Light," air quotes, which might not look anything like Disco's Federation.
It's a very good point.
It
Because
really
it's a
is.
completely different Federation than that anybody has seen ever. Like, it's new to us. It's new to Discovery. Yeah,
It kind of looked like the PS5. I'm not gonna lie. when they first pulled up, I was just like, "Oh, that was
That's-
released this week." Once again, they're
Use
reading
your
the future. See?
PlayStation.
I was
Brittany,
like, is that
I
a router in
literally-
space?
We were watching the episode and I was talking about how clean it was. I was like, oh yeah, it looks like my PS5 is from the 32nd century.
See?
Um,
The S in PS5 stands for Star Trek.
all right, guys, we know what you have been waiting for, and you've waited very patiently. And we hope that you've enjoyed our live show tonight talking about this episode. Obviously, we will be back next week with our episode 6 review, and we are also having our live stream of our episode 12 recording this Saturday at our normal time, 9:30 Eastern. That's all about the music of Trek. You've already heard part of that episode tonight. Really super excited to record that one. So check that out on Saturday, and that'll be on podcast form on Friday. We are going to take a quick break here, and when the show returns, we had the pleasure, and thank you very much to Brittany for making it happen, of interviewing Ian Alexander, who plays Gray on this season of Star Trek Discovery. We hope you enjoy it as much as we did recording it, because it was an absolute blast. Keep the channel open. We'll be right back.
Hello, Collective. We're joined today by the incredible and incomparable Ian Alexander, who plays Gray in Season 3 and now Season 4 of Star Trek Discovery. Gray was introduced in last week's groundbreaking episode, Forget Me Not. Ian, we're so excited to have you, and we absolutely love your character. There wasn't a dry eye in our crew during that episode.
Thank you
It's
so
true.
much. Thank you. I honestly, I was crying too when I read the script for the first time, and I'm so glad that it was a moment that was really touching to you. And like Adira and Gray's relationship is just so special, and I'm really excited to be able to explore that more throughout the rest of Season 3 and also into Season 4 as well.
I've
We
not
can't
had a
wait to see-
dry eye this entire season.
Nope.
It's just been
Yes.
like episode after episode.
We're hydrating
multiple
before.
times.
We're just like, we know it's gonna happen.
As you should, as you should.
5 minutes in, and I'm like tweeting, oh, cried again. Great.
It's interesting,
So-
like how relevant the topics of like Season 3 are to now. I mean, like sort of this collective trauma of like them all going 900 years into this future where like everything they've known is gone. It really parallels kind of what we're all going through right now with this pandemic. And it was completely unintentional. Like they had written this, you know, well before the first cases of COVID. So it's just amazing to me how something that we filmed and finished like last year is just so relevant still now.
It's almost like
incredibly
therapy too.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
It really does feel like that. It's cathartic to be able to sort of like see these characters that you have grown to know and love, like also go through grief and loss, like while you're also going through that yourself. And it's comforting to know that like even the really tough, strong, self-assured characters can have their moments of vulnerability too.
Mm-hmm. So, if I'm not mistaken, I believe you're the first out Asian American trans actor in Hollywood. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what everybody's saying, right?
I would say first out, like first known Asian American trans person, because there could have well been other Asian American trans actors before me who just maybe they weren't out about being trans, but yes.
Okay, so I
That
want
is
to make
correct.
sure that was good first. But I think everybody can agree that you bring an incredible authenticity to all of your characters. I started following you after the OA was released for Netflix, and I was like swearing by that show. I made everybody watch it. I still do. But from Buck Vu in the OA to Lev in The Last of Us Part 2, Last of Us is my favorite game. And now Gray in Star Trek Discovery, it's like you keep doing all these things I already like. And I'm like, how are you in this new thing again now? You've become an incredible role model and symbol for the LGBT community. And you're now among the pantheon of Star Trek firsts. So I was wondering, how does it feel to be able to provide this incredible representation and visibility?
It feels amazing. I mean, it certainly feels long overdue because I haven't seen people like me in the mainstream for a long time. And so I'm really glad to be sort of alongside Blue Del Barrio, who's my amazing castmate, to be introduced to this world and to be able to be such a part of an amazing franchise such as Star Trek, where we can just exist and we can just be, you know, trans and non-binary people that happen to exist in space in the future. And, I think trans people always have existed and we always will continue to exist. So I'm really glad that we are finally being included in the amazing universe of the Star Trek world.
Absolutely. And Eric's going to go next.
So Anthony Rapp and Wilson Cruz have been such advocates for LGBTQ rights, and they were out actors for such a long time now. Have they given you or Blue any advice on being an actor and being an out actor?
I'm trying to think if they've given any like actor specific advice. They're really good at just like general advice and reassurance. Like I feel like Wilson and Anthony have from day one like been our biggest supporters. They're just like really supportive. Same with Sonequa as well. Like they kind of all like knew that we were coming into this a bit anxious, a bit overwhelmed as one would be joining the Star Trek franchise. It's intimidating. So they kind of all really made us feel welcome. Like Anthony took me and Blue out to lunch and we just sort of like chatted about life and like it was really nice. They have given a lot of really great advice just about like how to believe in ourselves more and just finding community, a small community that like is our chosen family. That's something that really has stuck with me because we kind of have created a little chosen family, chosen queer family of us out here in Toronto because Anthony, Wilson, Blue, and I, like, we're not from Toronto. So when we come out here to film, we have each other as like a little community. So it's really sweet. I'm really, really grateful to have them as like people that I look up to, but then also like as my friends that I get to work with.
That's great.
Me?
You're good. Yeah. I just figured they know when to talk. You guys can
right. Ian, I said this when we recorded our episode reviewing the episode last week. Just like my immediate reaction when you and Blue first shared the screen together is that these two characters are just absolutely in love. And it feels like they've been in love for a really, really long time, despite being so young. How was it acting alongside Blue, and how was it filming that flashback scene that introduces us to Gray's character?
Wow, I love that you said that because really there's such a timeless quality to both Gray and Adira. Like they're both like very old souls. And I love that even though they're so young, like they're very wise and just like very confident and self-assured. And I think a lot of times there's this sort of archetype of like the shy sort of like self-conscious trans person. So I love seeing the representation of someone who's just like confident and also happens to be trans. I would say filming those scenes, like the flashback scenes especially, I was definitely like a little nervous, just like a little anxious because at that point, Blue and I had kind of only met a few weeks before. We had only done like one scene prior to like kissing. So I was like, oh, I have to kiss this person that's basically a stranger. But it was, pre-COVID, so there wasn't any anxiety about like germs or anything. But I was just more insecure of like, wow, like, is it going to be awkward or anything? But it felt so comfortable and natural. And I think Blue and I just sort of automatically had this deep connection and understanding with each other that really has blossomed into such a wonderful friendship. Like I was literally just hanging out with them before coming here.
Twitter doing the
saw
photos.
That
was
yeah. Sorry, was that my phone?
That's okay. You're busy. We know.
It was on. I should have silenced that before. But yeah, no, Blue and I were...
all access warning. They know.
They're like, what are you doing right now? Yeah, no, it's amazing because Blue and I were like just hanging out. When we first met, like we just sort of had this instant connection of like, I don't think either of us had worked with another trans person before. I especially hadn't, to my knowledge at least, like worked with an out trans actor. So that was such an amazing moment of just like really feeling safe and really feeling comfortable with them and just really having like the full freedom to just express myself around them and not have to filter myself at all. And so I am really grateful that like since then we've like really built such an amazing friendship.
It's awesome. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have the really nice chemistry, and it's so nice to see more than because in most shows I feel like we see one or two queer characters, and now this universe is filled with multiple, and I feel like that's been a nice change to sort of see in media, because usually it's just the one character, and even this podcast is 2/5 queer, which is pretty great. Right now, it's half and half, which I like.
Yeah,
But-
right. We just balanced it out. Whew.
That's right, guys.
That's awesome.
And I guess my question is, what brought you the most joy from doing the show? I mean, I know you guys are back there now, but what's just been the most fun and like the thing that you weren't expecting?
I think I wasn't expecting how like playful and kind of just like joyful everyone is on set. That's like an environment that like I love to work in, because if you're not having fun, then like why do what you do, you know? So I think that I kind of carry this attitude into every aspect of my life of like just bring joy, bring light and fun into it. And so it's been really amazing. I told Wilson, I was like, I missed your beautiful voice so much, because something that happens is Wilson will just spontaneously burst into song on set. And like, it's so amazing. Like he just, he'll just like start singing and we'll all just kind of like listen while we're like waiting for the next shot or whatever. So that's something I really loved, is just being able to be around my castmates, be my full unfiltered self. Like I'll be singing random songs that are stuck in my head. I'll be quoting random like things that come into my mind. I have ADHD, so I have a bit of a less of a filter. So I'll just be on set, like quoting TikToks, and then Blue will start laughing. So it's just a really great environment to be able to just be relaxed and just be ourselves. And it really shows on screen, that we're comfortable with the people that we're working with.
If you have ADHD while in character, is it called great ADHD?
There it is.
Sorry, I just needed one. Then Eric can go, I swear. Go ahead, Eric.
So science fiction has always been this medium that's been in the forefront of exploring social and philosophical issues. And Star Trek in particular has touched so many of these things, like representation, racism, xenophobia, PTSD, gender identity, the current political climate, just to name a few. What do you think of this medium as a means of exploring these issues? And are there any issues you'd like to see explored in the future?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that Star Trek specifically has been such a like groundbreaking show in terms of like having Black women on screen when, Black women were hardly seen on television. Even just women in general, like LGBT people, Star Trek really they've been putting in the work. And so I think that it is a great way to sort of introduce new concepts, or like, just sort of like more, I guess, like controversial things to the mainstream in a way that like can be digested, and sort of like it humanizes and like creates empathy for people in a way that like they might not have been able to see if they had their own biases and judgments. Because like if you sort of project onto these alien characters, there's less of that like original bias that we have about a situation. It's a lot more metaphorical. So I love that Star Trek does that. It sort of just like really humanizes and empathizes with everyone involved in the story, and really just shows like all the moving parts that happen. I mean, especially in like the newest season 3, like there's so much like relevancy to like nowadays. I love it. And I would love to see more. I know Star Trek has already done like a bit of this, but I'd love to see more disability representation. I'd love to see like trans women of color. Like if they had a Black trans woman on Star Trek, like that would be amazing.
You gotta make
so yeah.
Yeah,
I will plant those seeds. I'm definitely. I've been pitching some ideas to Blue, and I'm just like, if there's 2 trans people in space, there's got to be more of us. There's got to be more of us.
They don't even know what's going to hit them.
This builds up in her. She has to let it out, or else the
I
damn
do.
will.
And it's the ADHD. Like, I got to let it out or else I'll forget it, and then it eats me inside. You know how it is.
I know how it is, exactly. You just got to get it out there.
Oh, man.
So I guess I'm next. So 2020 has been a big year for you between Discovery and The Last of Us Part 2. So going forward, what can we expect to see you in next? And what kind of roles would you like to play?
Upcoming, I was in a film called Daughter that should be coming out sometime next year. It was an indie film that was sort of based off of the relationship that I have with a friend of mine, Vivian. The director and writer, Corey Deshawn, he was inspired by sort of like our dynamic and just sort of like took that and ran with it and went in this like very art house direction, sort of like Yorgos Lanthimos, Killing of a Sacred Deer kind of energy. So that was the first time I had ever played like a lead character in anything. So I'm very excited for that to come out. I get to be a creepy cult boy. And I'd love to play more roles like that, like more, just sort of like spooky horror, like very
We've
creepy
seen your
characters.
TikToks.
Yeah.
You're like, check out my vibe this time. And like blood's falling out of your mouth. And I was like, go off, Ian, go off.
I am so glad that you brought that up because TikTok is such a great form of self-expression because like I get to be creepy, I get to be cute, I get to be funny, I get to be like hot. Like I can just be whatever I want. And it's amazing. It's perfect for my like actor brain and also my ADHD brain as well.
Every time you do one, it's crazy unique. I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic.
And the editing is too good.
It's so good.
Like the last one with the chair, I was just like, okay, I give up. Like, I got a background like this. That's about it.
Thank you so much. It's so much fun for me to do. And like, the more I do it, the more I learn and have fun with it. So I'm so glad that like, it also makes other people happy too. Cause like, I will literally like have the time of my life making a TikTok and I don't even need to show it to anyone in order to have the time of my life. So I'm glad I can share that joy.
I love it.
Awesome. Ian, I want to talk to you a little bit about some concern that was in the fan base last week. That kind of, we immediately get this trans character played by you, a trans actor, and then they immediately die. Now, obviously, this isn't the end of your story, as we saw at the end of the episode last week, right? Like, Blue can see you. We're going to touch on that a lot more, I'm assuming. And then we know that you're filming for season 4 already. But there's this kind of PTSD, I guess is the best way to say it, from the LGBTQ community, from what happened with Dr. Culber in season 1 and what's happened with other LGBT characters like, Lexa in the 100, if you're familiar with that show. I guess, can you give our listeners and people who watch the show any context into that choice or to reassure them? Like, can they feel confident moving forward that this season, that it was the right choice for the story and your character?
So I would say I totally understand the concern. I mean, historically, trans and LGBT characters have been killed off in media because of, historically, like you weren't really allowed to have gay characters in media unless they were like punished in some way for being gay. So there's a lot of heavy history there. I totally understand. Also with, what happened when Dr. Culber died and then was brought back, that was very like, concerning and traumatic for a lot of viewers who, they didn't want to bury the gays, as they say. That's sort of the TV trope that follows. So I understand that completely. And I also do understand the frustration of like wanting, a trans character that simply just thrives the entire time and doesn't have to suffer or go through anything traumatic. So I absolutely understand and wholeheartedly support and respect that. But as some reassurance from myself as the actor, I would say Gray's death does not alienate him and it does not remove him from the story. I would say it actually brings him a lot closer to Adira in some ways that like might not have happened had that death not happened. And also Gray's future is so bright and so exciting, and I can't wait for you all to see what's in store for Gray. I do think I am very proud of like the way that they have handled Gray's storyline. And I also would love to see, more trans characters being introduced where like they don't die right away. Same with Adira. Like Adira just, they show up and then they're just there and then they become a part of the Discovery crew. So like I would love to see more of that as well.
You just gave me goosebumps. So
we're all excited. We're like, so Forget Me Not was all about acceptance, whether it was accepting your traumas, feelings, and yourself. In our opinion, we think it's one of the greatest Star Trek episodes, and it covered these topics in a really powerful and healthy way. Since you were a huge advocate and activist in regards to equality and mental health in the LGBT community, have you felt the impact that your character in this episode have had on those that are struggling with either identity or mental health, especially this year alone?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the reaction that I've seen on social media has been by far like the biggest reaction that I've seen just anything that I've been. I mean, I always get sort of surges of activity on my feed when like The Last of Us dropped, and when the OA season 2 came out, there was also like a huge surge in notifications. But I think this is the first time I've gotten like so many messages consistently that are like, this moved me to tears, and like I was like sobbing because of this. And so that sort of like really emotional, visceral reaction that people are having is really touching to me, because like we're all going through it together. We're all sort of experiencing this catharsis, and I think we all kind of really needed a good cry after the events of like this whole past week. It's very stressful.
Yeah.
I think it definitely came at like the perfect time too. Like that was not intentional by them at all. Like they didn't plan for it to line up with the election or anything, but it was a very much needed like moment of positivity and empowering, for people. Trans love is beautiful and trans love is power. So I'm really glad that we were able to just share that with the world at the perfect time.
Can I ask you a question real quick? I love your personal style, and you've always got cool jewelry and things like that. And I work in like diamonds and jewelry. I work at a jewelry store. How have you sort of come to that style, and what do you like? Because that to me is really interesting.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. I've always like really loved expressing myself through my appearance, whether it's like my hair, like dyeing my hair different colors, like shaving my head, doing cool things with that, or like my makeup. I kind of always had like a more what would be considered like traditionally feminine style. But I personally believe like everything is genderless. Makeup is genderless. Clothes are genderless. Anyone can wear anything regardless of what gender they are. But yeah, no, I've always been drawn towards like dresses and skirts and things like that. And there was a period of time after I came out where I felt like I wouldn't be respected. I felt like my identity wouldn't be validated if I wore what I really wanted to wear. But I'm really glad that like now I have that confidence to just like go out and wear a skirt. I can go out and wear earrings and stuff. I would say like my inspiration comes from like all of my friends and like social media. Like I will just, whenever I see like someone that inspires me, like fashion wise or makeup wise, like I'll just like put the post on my story. So my Instagram stories kind of become like this online archive of like music and photos and art that I really like, as well as, like donation links for people that are, trying to crowdfund, and selfies, I kind of just, it's sort of like a online, inspiration board. So I love inspiration boards. I made like a whole like PowerPoint slide on Google Docs of like different style inspirations that I have for the character of Gray. So we'll see if like some of my personal style influences Gray further along the line. I sort of pitched that to everyone in like the hair, makeup, costumes department, because I was like, maybe Greg could wear some more jewelry.
We learned today that some of the disco cast has started playing D&D together. How are you liking it? D&D.
I'm loving it so much. It's really fun. But yeah, no, playing D&D with the rest of, it's not the entire cast, but we have like a small group of Anthony, Blue, Mary, and then Mary's husband, Noah, as well as Emily. Like we're all playing together, and it's been really fun so far. We just started, we're on our like second week now, our second day of the campaign. And it's my like first time like really playing a campaign. Like I've played a few games here and there before as kind of just like a one-off sort of thing, but this is my first time like actually like creating a character and like committing to like a full campaign. So I'm really excited to see how the story develops. I'm also like wondering if maybe like at some point, if everyone else in the group is okay with it, we could try to stream it and share it with
do it.
Awesome.
Oh my God, I'm wearing my D&D shirt today. See.
That was
You and
totally
Eric
by
are
accident.
matching.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were so excited when we saw Anthony tweeted. We were like, what?
We're both wearing them.
And I just started D&D in the quarantine too, because all of my friends had played, but that was the one nerdy thing I never did. So I'm probably about the same place you are, where it's like this whole new world is just opening up, and it's super exciting.
Yeah, it's so exciting. And like the more I learn about it, the more fun it becomes, because the rules are just so intricate, and like there's so many infinite possibilities for storytelling. It's really fun because like we're all actors, so we all get to like really play and like
Yes.
It's so much fun. And it's brought me, I think, a lot closer to sort of like, the people that are involved. And it's a great way for us to socialize safely because we can't really like meet up in person.
Yeah.
So it's a great way for us to connect all outside of work, but in a way that's like socially distant and safe over Zoom. So it's been really, really fun.
Okay. Erin, I guess put this in. She wanted to know how they did the awesome Trill makeup for you, because we know how they did it in the past for like Deep Space Nine, but it's been so many years. So like, how's the process, I guess, now?
Yeah, I mean, the prosthetics team is incredible. They do all of the work. They have like these tattoo transfers that they will put, alongside my temples and then down the neck. And I'm not sure exactly, like I don't do prosthetics makeup, so I don't know what their process is, but it's basically like they'll wet the transfers, it'll transfer onto my skin, they peel off the paper, and then they seal it and powder it and make sure it doesn't like stick to my clothing or anything. It's very simple, and actually like probably I'm pretty lucky. I'm probably like the lowest maintenance like alien as far as Star Trek goes, because there's Doug Jones who has to come in like 2 hours early to get the full head, hands, everything, and he can't even like chew, like really fully chew while he's like in that prosthetic. So I mean, he's a trooper. He drinks smoothies all day, but what
Doug's
a king!
Incredible.
What a king!
Wow.
Truly,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm a Doug Jones, I guess, a fan. I literally have like
Are you?
Huge fan.
toys nearby. It's like, oh, I loved him in Hellboy. Like, I love Doug Jones. He's so chill. I don't think I'm somebody that's like a fan where I'd like freak out if I met somebody. I'd just be like, yo, you're cool. I don't know.
He is really
How I am with you.
yeah, and he's so sweet too. He's like really like genuinely like, oh my God, just has like the warmest, kindest presence too. So yeah, no, this is a Doug Jones stan group. We all love we love Doug.
Doug Jones. Okay. So did anybody have any last ideas, comments, thoughts? I think we can all say that we absolutely love you and your character. So we want to thank you so much for coming on the show. We look forward to seeing Gray's story develop through Discovery. The Trill are definitely my favorite Star Trek race, and they've long been an unofficial metaphor for the LGBT community, as we've always been able to see our feelings and experiences through these characters. Like for me, it was always Jadzia Dax that I related to. So it's been wonderful to see not only the Trill culture explored more deeply, but seeing that through the characters of Adira and Gray. And my favorite thing about Star Trek is the fact that there's a future for all of us. And now, thanks to you and Blue, that future is trans and non-binary. So where can people find you on social media, if you're okay with, putting that in here? And if you have any projects you can talk about, we know NDAs, and you have any maybe charities or fundraisers you're always doing, you can take a moment to promote those too.
Yeah, thank you so much. Self-promo time. My social media is Ian Alexander, except the L is an I, so it's Ian Alexander.
Nice.
That is something that happened because I stuck with it. Ian Alexander was already taken. I was like, I'm just committing to it. I'm making this my brand now. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all under that same name, Ian Alexander. And also, I am raising funds for Black trans people on my Cameo. So Black trans people are disproportionately affected by violence and homelessness, addiction, discrimination in housing and work and school. So I really think that is great for me to be able to use my platform to raise money that I don't need from my Cameo and redirect that to people that do need it, because directly supporting people is such a great way to really make a strong impact on the world. And you can make the change that you want in the world. You can make the world a better place just today by donating to someone, buying someone lunch that maybe they wouldn't have been able to eat. So yeah, if you buy a shout out, it can be a birthday shout out. It could be Star Trek related. It could be me just giving you a positive, uplifting message. It is $40 for one video, and all of that money, 100% will go to someone in need. So yeah, check out same as my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, Ian Alexander, and that's on Cameo.
Awesome.
I absolutely
Amazing.
love it. And we'll probably donate again, even though we already have, because you have such great causes. And I don't know, You're a great person. So thanks,
Thank
Ian. It's
you.
been an absolute pleasure. For those listening, you can catch Ian on Star Trek Discovery Thursdays on CBS All Access. If you're in Canada, Star Trek Discovery airs Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on CTV Sci-Fi Channel. Please also, just from me, watch the OA on Netflix. I'm one of those Save the OA people. I can't believe it got canceled still. See, we're all the Save the OA people here. And if you have a PS4 and soon to have a PS5, please check out The Last of Us Part 2 because it is life-changing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll close it out with trans rights are human rights and trans is beautiful. So good night and Majram. Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.